Okay, here's a quick overview on how to incorporate prospecting email to the Q3 and Q4 testing program. I went to and used our July prospecting postcards and selected 8 different branches just to flush out this testing campaign proposal. So each of the branches that I use have a variety of postcard counts because we had different levels of funding for each of these branches. Just starting with branch 8119, let me go left to right to show you how to read this and how we would like to issue the test. So obviously we have the branch number, the branch name. We have the quantities that we used in July were 15,385. The carrier routes went to these zip codes, and then obviously we're sub-zipped to carrier routes for the postcard. For prospecting email, we can only go to the zip code itself. We can't sub-zip. So using these zip codes and the prospecting email target of homeowners, a home built between 1900 and 2013 with a home value of 700,000 plus. If you look, each of the home values change compared to what that demographic area's home values are. So each of the regions have an individual home value. So we were able to match 90,000 emails to these zip codes using that targeting demo. Of the 90,000, we were able to match back just under 8,400 addresses that were in the email count and the July postcard count. So we had a match back of about 9%. And if you look across the range of the different branches, it's anywhere from 6% up to 15%. So we can extrapolate that to get an understanding of where we're going to be when we look at different branches. Now, the amount of postcards we were able to match back to an email were over 50% on just about all of them, with the lowest being 48%. So we're getting that 50 to 60% match back, which is a tighter number that we could also use that to extrapolate into looking at other branches as we want to look at possible funding. So in the testing that we would like to do is listed here in the testing options. So the control is to use the postcards that are not getting any email or additional postcard feedback. We can use that as a return on ad spend. And then the different options that we would use, we have the prospecting postcard and email. So we would take the 8,400 addresses here, split them in two, and we would send 4,200 people that received a postcard also an email. And then the second testing option is the other 4,200 would get a postcard, they would get an email, and then the ones that opened the email and viewed it, we would send them a follow-up postcard, and we could get a reading on return on ad spend from that bucket. And then the third one would be the between the 90,000 and the 8,300, so this 82,000 names, we could send them an email and a postcard and get what that return on ad spend would be. And we would get a reading on all 4 across the branches, and we could start building out what an expected campaign value would be when we start using these testing options. I would recommend doing at least a 3-month test to try and work out any individual spikes for some reason. But then if you look at the needing of funding, so we have an additional funding needed for 8119 of $3,200 to come up with testing programs for all of these. And we're looking at an additional 21 cents all the way to about 25 cents per household of the postcard to give us an understanding of where we would need to be per branch. This is just a top level walkthrough of the testing campaign and an example of what additional funding would be needed for a Q3, Q4 test. Obviously, please let me know if there's any questions. Thanks.